So tell me, what comics are you reading lately?
Oh, there's so many. I guess I have to like break this down into like North American comics, single issues, graphic novels, and then like manga because I'm like all over the place with both. On the North American comics side, I am loving Peach Momoko's Ultimate X-Men. That is just it's eye candy and it's also good. And if you're really into like Japanese culture, the way that she's interwoven those types of things into the story is just kind of like a little added treat and bonus, especially if you're really into that. Um, I've always loved her take on X-Men, especially with Demon Days. That one was one of my favorite ones to read. So what I'm saying here is read Peach Momoko stories, like whatever it is, whether it's her Darth Vader Black, White, and Red story, which was amazing. I think it was like completely silent as well, like just gorgeous artwork, and amazing storytelling. Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees has been a big one. I remember reading a PDF proof of that before it came out and being like, yeah, this one's gonna make it because I'm a big fan of Odd Taxi. If anyone has seen that anime or has is excited for the Denpa release of the manga that's coming out soon. That's really cool. If you're not familiar with Odd Taxi, Black Sad is probably my closest reference to Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees. I'm like a huge Black Sad fan. Um,
It's a great
I
book.
love that book so much. I don't know, anytime that people can do a really good anthropomorphic animal like representation tale, like that's always really interesting to see. And I know a lot of folks love Black Sad and they like Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees. So if you liked both of those, definitely check out Unnatural by Mirka Andolfo. In case you missed that one, that one was really, really good from Image. And it's not what you think it is because they set it up to be kind of a weird, like mature readers, spicy kind of book, but it's kind of does the U-turn with Beneath the Trees where it's like then there's like a murder that happens in issue one and you're like, where am I? And it kind of unravels this entire thing. Oh, goodness, what else? I Heart Skullcrusher from Boom Studios because I feel like I have to say something from Boom if Philip was on here as well. So I loved I Heart Skullcrusher. I guess I'll go back to like older stuff. Nice House on the Lake was one that still like kind of like lives rent free in my mind. And I, having worked with James Tynan, the fourth before on Something's Killing the Children, it was really good to kind of see a more grounded tale in horror. And like I love cabin in the woods type style stories, so that one like really brought me in for that one. And of course, he always picks the most amazing artists to work on his books. So that's one to definitely check out if you have not. The entire Raven Teen Titans series from DC that Cami Garcia and Gabriel Piccolo are doing, that's just magic, like through and through. Like it just brings you right back to like the Teen Titans era of the cartoon, and it makes me just every time I see it, it's so much joy. And it makes it really teen relatable as well. So I think it's a really good entryway into comics for casual readers as well because it's you don't have to know all the lore. It's just a story about teenagers that have powers, which is great. Because I work for Square Enix Manga and Books, I read a lot of manga. I had read a lot of manga before, and that's kind of what led me to kind of pursuing a career in manga. I was a big Shonen Jump fan back in the early 2000s when that was still being released in the US. Still a big Jump fan as well, and a big Viz fan. So if you've been enjoying the Kaiju number eight anime that just came out, Kaiju number eight is the like top tier for me because I love having a 32-year-old, 33-year-old protagonist in a shonen manga, and I'm like, I'm with you right there. All the things where he's like, my back, and like all the medical problems that he feels like he's having, and like all the youngins running around. I totally understand that. And it's overall just every chapter delivers on that book, and it's so good. The manga that brought me back into manga because there was always a period where like I went to art school, so like for sequential art and comics, so there was a period of time where they're like manga aren't real comics, and so you stopped reading manga and you focused on like Western comics. So I have a gap in my knowledge, but the thing that brought me back was My Hero Academia. uh, I love that series so much. I will die on the hill that it is the greatest superhero story like ever told and ever. It's like the highest selling superhero story ever. But there is something about that book that you can just tell that Kohei Horikoshi absolutely loves everything about Western comics. There are homages to like the Batman, Superman covers with like both of them standing on the buildings. He did like an homage of Deku doing that, and there's like a bunch of homages to Spider-Man and a few other things that are like, if you know, you know. So that's kind of like a cute, like fun treat. And he handles his page spreads like a Western comic, which I find really interesting compared to other manga. So it's an interesting flow, and he handles time really well, which I don't think we get the chance to experience a lot of in Western comics. You mostly see that kind of like time, that use of time and art in manga, and he does it really, really well. And I'm a huge Bakugo fan. I know you can't see it, but like he's all up in there. He's like all up there. That's my guy.
I love that property so much. You know, those characters are so great.
It's so good.
It's just a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun, and if you've been keeping up with the chapters on the Shonen Jump app, we are in the end game, and I'm like a little sad, but I'm also like, yay, a superhero story that actually ends. And it's just been like hit after hit, anxiety after anxiety attack, like every single time. Like I thought my boy was dead for like a solid year, and I'm like, okay. But yeah, other than that, I've been reading prior to being hired at Square Enix. I was reading a couple of the titles in trying to read a couple of titles in Japanese or on their Manga Up app. Smoking Behind the Supermarket with You. I am a huge fan of slice of life stories, and manga has a plethora of that. So that one's a really good one. If you like, again, older protagonist, just he has two favorite things in life. He likes to smoke and he likes to see the smile of his favorite supermarket cashier, and those are the two things he lives for in life. And he ends up forming a friendship with this woman behind the supermarket who's taking a smoke break, and he doesn't realize that it's the cashier for like volumes. And so it's him just having these casual conversations, and she's like openly flirting with him, and like just it's a really good look at how to build healthy adult friendships. And seeing that represented in manga and seeing that represented in any sort of media is really, really cool. And I've heard a lot of people be like, this is not the book I thought it was, but it just made me feel so good and so wholesome after reading it. That one's awesome. Other manga that's really, really awesome, Gachiakura from Kodansha, that just got released in English. I heard someone describe it as like the Velveteen Rabbit, but violent. And it is kind of that. You've got this little trash boy that lives in a kind of like desolate, like trash city, and he gets accused of murder, and he gets basically thrown into like this abyss pit where like nobody comes back from it. And then he realizes that there are people that live down there, and there's this like huge power leveling scale, and it's like a really cool shonen manga. And Kodansha doesn't do a ton of shonen, so it was really nice to see them get Blue Lock and then get Gachiakura, especially if you are more of a fan of that like supernatural like battle manga and not sports manga. But Blue Lock's awesome too. Blue Lock is great. I'm like looking at my shelves to be like, what else? I don't know. I think I feel like I've rattled off a ton.
There's a lot of books. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I read so much, and I haven't.
Your passion for comics is clearly showing.
Yes, you get me talking about comics like this one, this one, this one.
I know. Well, I appreciate the recommendations because I'm fairly new to manga. You know, I haven't read a ton, and I'm always looking for new stuff. Although right now, I have been very focused on trying to get all the way through One Piece. But I'm in the very early stages.
I have too.
I'm only on volume 11, so I have a lot to go. I think it's only like chapter 90
like, where are
or
you?
something. They're still fighting like the fishmen or whatever. Yeah, it's very
wow.
early. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Are you still with Arlong?
Yes.
Or Arlong?
Yes.
Oh, okay. It takes a minute. Like I will say this, anyone that wants to try and go on the One Piece journey, it takes a minute. Once you get past the East Blue, it just goes off from there, and you're like, oh my god, I love all of these characters. Like I have promised not to buy any One Piece merch because I'm like, I know once I start, I won't stop. I'm like 730 chapters in. Like we're getting towards where we're at now. So I applaud you. I applaud you for going on the One Piece journey.
Yeah,
it's a lot.
It's a massive story, but you know, it's such a huge piece of culture, so I have to, participate.
Yes.
And I just bought volume 1 of Glitch. Did you hear? Yeah.
Glitch?
It was
I don't
it was
think I know.
very good.
Maybe if I see the cover.
Oh, it's upside down. Sorry.
Oh yeah, I have not read that one yet, but I've heard really
It's
good
the
things.
art style is different from a lot of manga, and it's the story was real, just really it captured me. And it's real sort of
Interesting.
relaxing but intriguing, and I don't know. I really liked it. So
It's got a little bit of a like a I Kill Giants
yeah,
vibe to it. So that always brings me in. But yeah, I've got that one on my to read pile for sure because I keep seeing it. I'm like, that cover's so interesting, and I want to read
yeah.
it.
So that's been my. Oh, and I just read volume one of Bakuman, which was it's great.
Bakuman is
Yeah,
great. Ah, it's so good. Similarly, that you had mentioned before we started recording that I could like talk about books that I'm excited about from Square Enix that are coming up, and one of them is actually if you like Bakuman, you're gonna like this book. It's called Dragon and Chameleon by Ryo Ishiyama. The premise is a like it, Ichiro Oda type mangaka that's like got all this great success and has like a huge long running series and like a Shonen Jump type of magazine and an anime and merch and all this fans and he's like the super positive guy. He switches bodies with his assistant who is like a jealous temp who can like copy anyone's style. So he's been like jumping from mangaka to mangaka to mangaka, and they're all like, "This guy has the worst reputation ever." So they switch bodies, and the assistant is like, "I'm going to try and tank Dragonland," which is the creator series, and you think that the creator is going to, or the author is going to be like super jealous and like angry and all of that, and he's like, no, do it, top my work, and he's like, I'm gonna like try and create the best manga ever and try and beat myself, and it's so positive and affirming, and if you're an art person, you get something out of it that's completely different, but it's also a really cool inside look at the manga industry through a super dramatized lens. And you can read it. You can read the chapters now for free on the Square Enix Manga Up app, but the book itself will be coming out later this year in November. It's already been announced. It's already up for pre-order and stuff like that. But Ryo Ishiyama was also an assistant for Ichiro Oda on One Piece, so there's like a little bit of that on there too. I'm really excited about that one. I want people to read it. I hope they enjoy it. It's nice to have a manga that exudes so much positivity from its main characters that you're like cheering for both of them, even though one of them's kind of a jerkus. Um, and you don't want him to win, but at the same time, you're like, I want you to win. I want you to get something out of this. I want you to stop being a jerk. Um, that one is super exciting.
well, thank you so much for taking some time out of your day to talk to us. Really appreciate it.
Of course. No, thank you for having me. No, I appreciate it. This was fun. I'm sorry I rambled
No,
so
I mean
much.
again, the passion for comics is what we're all here for.
Yeah.